Hello everyone. We welcome you to the second dialogue of the Inspiring Women series launched by the Dais to celebrate and to learn from the milestones of women on whose footsteps we shall take after to continuing building a sustainable world. The Dais continues to advance its advocacy of gender equal and inclusive world through its upcoming dialogue series spread across the span of 3 months under the Inspiring Women Initiative. Launched on 8th March 2022, the Inspiring Women was a lively online panel discussion on the urgent necessity of women's perspective in public policy as we navigate through various global crises. Advancing this initiative as a 3 month long festival, the whole series is designed in support of the 2022 UN Women International Women's Day, following the theme of gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. The event's vision aligns with the UN Women's theme for International Women's Day. In a nutshell, International Women's Day is celebrated every year across the globe, keeping in mind the theme. This year's theme was Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. The theme was apt because it lends importance to the position of women and thinking through wellness. The word health has traditionally been restricted to physical well being. Emotions have historically been feminized, and thus, talking about emotional and mental well being is seen as weakness and is easily dismissed. In this dialogue, we aim to deconstruct the true meaning of health and wellness, break the gender coding of emotions, and celebrate the power of being emotional. So, before we begin, I would like to introduce my fellow moderator for the day, Jasmine Susan Joes, Chief Operating Officer at the Dais. So, now we move on to the amazing panelists. Our panelists for today are Dr. Jeethu, Advocate Ishita Sharma, and Ms. Tripti Chaudhary. Dr. Jeethu is an Ayurvedic doctor at MOH, Oman, Kuwait, Bahrain. She took Bachelor's of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery (BAMS) at Government Ayurveda Medical College and Hospital in Thiruvananthapuram, India. Dr. Jeethu Ramachandran is a hormonal coach that helps to heal female hormonal imbalance. As a holistic specialist, she published an ebook, a guide to how to use veggies during illness. It will give you knowledge on how you can use veggies to support health that can be used as the first step in holistic living. Next, we have Ms. Ishita Sharma, an advocate practitioner who is an Indian native studying in law in the US and has served as a deputy court clerk and law firm partner and attorney associate in India, a journalist and civil rights activist between Asia Pacific region and US book author of Law of Education titles, educator, private sector corporation officer, and non-profit business operator among business interests among the Asia Pacific and Americas before the age of 30. Finally, we have Ms. Tripti Chaudhary Ved, a child, adolescent, and young adult psychologist specializing in emotional disorders of children, adolescents, and young adults. She has been practicing for the last 10 years. She practices at the Center of Child and Adolescent Wellbeing, MP Heart Clinic, and St. Permananda Hospital. She has extensive experience in trauma based psychotherapy, eye movement desensitization, reprocessing. Her vision is to empower young people and their families and to help them become more adaptable in the society. She believes in honing the potential of every individual and helping them realize their own potential. And thank you to all the panelists for being here, and a very, very warm welcome to everyone watching us live from Facebook. Thank you so much. I hand over the floor to Jasmine.
Thank you so much, Muskan. And it's interesting to have all the panelists with us here today. I'm sorry, I have my daughter with me right now who's also attending the session, so that is why you can hear some noises in between. So, my first set of questions to the panelists, and this is to address towards all the panelists here. What does well being mean to you? Does it comprise of only physical, materialistic well being, or does it include mental health and well being as well? Because most of the time, since when we say, as Tripti also mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, that when we say how are you doing, the answer is always fine, and that fine usually comes from other aspects rather than mental health need. So my first question is addressed to all the panelists, and I would like Tripti to answer first.
All right, so I'm going to start with a definition of the health. Okay, sorry, getting a little technical here. But the WHO definition was revised a few years ago to saying that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So, one of the most important things to note is that when we talk about health or we talk about well being, we're looking at every aspect. We're not just focusing on how I'm feeling physically, but we're also focusing on how we're feeling here. Because remember, and I think we can throw more light on this later, is that there is a deep connection between the physical and the mental well being. And in today's day and age, considering and I'm obviously talking from the mental health perspective very, very strongly, is that we cannot overlook that important part of ourselves, which is the mental well-being. So when we talk about how are you feeling, what are we looking at? We're looking at how you're feeling. Did that say how you are you feeling physically fit? No, that's not the question we're asking another person when we ask how are you, right? So one of the basic answers or basic questions that we have for all conversations becomes about talking about how you're feeling here rather than just how you're feeling here. I'm guessing my panelists would want to contribute more.
Thank you so much, Tripti. Next, we would like to address this question to Dr. Jeethu.
Yes, as Tripti said, yeah, the WHO definition. As I am an Ayurvedic doctor, I will go for an Ayurvedic definition here first. Then we will talk about the well-being section. In Ayurveda, it's told that when there is proper digestion, when there is proper metabolism, when there is proper excretion, and when there is proper nourishment to all the tissues in the body, all the tissues in the body. Along with that, it is mentioned that prasanna atma indriya manaha swastha iti abhidhiyate. That is, swastha means a healthy person. Prasanna atma indriya manaha. That is, when your senses are working properly, that is not overdoing the senses. When we are hearing what we want to hear, not overdoing the hearing, what we have to absorb from our senses, not overdoing that. All in whatever needed in minimum. Minimum means, not overdoing and not underdoing. When these senses are in proper, all the five organs, sense organs are in proper. Along with that, Atma Indriya Manaha. Manaha is mentioned there. That is when your mind is completely good. That is, when the mind is prasanna, that is happiest, then you are saying that it is called a healthy person. And from my point of view, when you don't need any external thing, when you are happy without needing any external materialistic or external things, that is the state of your well-being. You don't need anything from external to make you happy. When you are happy from inside, as yourself, that is your state of well-being, according.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jeethu. We now would like to welcome Miss Ishita, who is one of the panelists along with you. Welcome, Miss Ishita, to the session, and thank you for giving us time today, despite your busy schedule. And in fact, all the panelists here on a Sunday, you're here today. Miss Ishita, my first question to all the panelists was, what does well-being mean to you? Does it comprise of only physical materialistic aspects, or does it include mental well-being as well?
Well-being is all about mental well-being, if you ask me. If you are not mentally stable, you are useless physically. No matter how fit you are, how many abs you have, how beautiful you look, what clothes you wear, doesn't matter. What matters is your mental health. If your mind is in sync with body, only then can you do whatever you are even thinking of. Otherwise, it's even difficult to move a hand to grab a glass of water. You see? So mental well-being is the focal point of every human body, and irrespective of women and men. So whatever work or daily interactions that we end up being into, we lose a lot of energy. Uh, Even in the smallest of the conversations to the biggest of quarrels, energy is something which we lose through our senses. eyes, via eyes we lose 80% of our energy, and all of this keeps on, adding on to our stress levels time and again, and we don't even end up realizing. So one fine day when everything takes a toll on your head and you don't know what is wrong with you because you're physically fit and fine, you have no diseases, uh, you realize that you cannot comprehend things well, you realize that you're not able to perform to the fullest of your capacity, and that is when you start feeling weak within. So to avoid, this is what happens when, women or men or people who are professionals, this is called professional burnout. We end up burning out ourselves, and trust me, burnout is real. It gives you a, it puts a heavy toll on your daily mental and physical functioning. So yes, and that affects your mental well-being. So mental well-being, keeping up with it is really important. And in today's time where everybody is rushing for more money, everyone is rushing for more money, and people are busy in their professional lives, there is no scope of mental well-being. There is no time to even cook properly. Forget cleaning the house and keeping your space full of positivity. So yes, we all need some time to dedicate ourselves and focus on our mental health, which is, I believe, is the topmost priority. Though it is being neglected drastically by the country and its people, we don't understand what mental well-being is. We think that a person who says that they are not mentally stable or mentally weak, they consider themselves as uh, maybe psychopaths or terminally ill to be admitted into mental hospitals. That's not what mental weakness or illness is about. Those are two different things. So yes, mental education, mental well-being education is a pivotal point and needs to be spoken about much and much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ishita. I think the first set of questions, we really did get an insight from all the panelists regarding the concept of well-being itself. Because if you look at the let's say the former generation, or if you talk to our parents or grandparents, maybe not all, but society as a general, for them the term well-being meant how financially well off you are, how physically fit you are. But when it came to the mental aspects of the people, it was kind of ignored. It was kind of not looked upon, or even there were social stigmas associated with the concept in itself. So that is why I'm glad that we could have this conversation here today. My second set of questions to all the panelists is, how important has it become in today's time, particularly, to recognize and give importance to mental health, and let's say the overall well-being of a person, particularly for young women and girls, especially in a country like India. Across the world, definitely there are statistics which prove the mental well-being aspect. But when you talk about young women and girls in India, what do you think is the importance given in today's time? My first set of questions, this question is addressed to Dr. Jeethu first.
Yeah. In the
Dr. Jeethu?
yeah, in the present time, what happens is that um, all of our activities are completely focused on our external timeline. Yeah, we fix our external timelines and we are completely depending upon our external timelines. And this is the thing that our younger generation is also seeing from us. They are saying that when they have to finish the homework, we will say that do it now. That means we are setting a timeline. You have to do it now. We are not allowing them to just roam around and do it at their own pace. That external timeline is actually stressing us out. And these external timelines are completely set on a male dominant system. I will say like that, because our female body is not like a say male body. Every day our hormones are changing. As if we took a 28 days of cycle, the 4 phases, each phases, there is variation in hormone. That hormone is actually, it is influencing each and every cell of your body. When the thyroid is not functioning properly, you will get lethargic, you will lose the energy. And if you are thinking that your body have to perform 28 days in a completely healthy mode and you are just working for that, it's not going to happen. You have to change your routine according to your menstrual cycle, your hormone level. But these are the things we are not teaching our younger generation. We will tell them that you have to work according how the the male dominant society is working, how the male are working. You have to achieve your goals within this timeline. You have to marry within this age. You have to get a better job within this age. We are stressing it out and we are not connecting with ourselves. We are just looking for, we have to prove our worthiness to our external world. That is the thing. And we are forcing our body more and more. We are stressing out more and more. And we are not shutting down our system. That is the thing. We are not shutting down. Our body is always in that stress and, flight and fight response from morning till evening. Yeah, if I enter into this meeting, I will just say, oh, it is 9:50. Here, it is 9:50. Oh, I have to enter into the meeting. Like that. The body is in each and our body, what our body tries to do when we face a situation. Our body tries to protect us. How they are protecting? By flight or fight response. That is our body is fighting. So these in these conditions, we are not connecting with ourselves and we are not telling our younger generation to feel their emotions, how they are feeling. When we are telling them to do this thing, are you feeling okay? Are you feeling happy to do that thing? Are you feeling okay to do it now? We have to ask them. We have to tell them that you have to know the feelings. That feelings is your guidance. That energy is your guidance. You have to trust your own energy. It's not the energy from the society, being busy and even if we look at our mother, we say that we will see that they are not ready to take rest. They think that it is unworthy to take rest. They have to do the cleaning, cooking, going to job. They think that this is the way they are proving their worthiness. And if we spend a day in sofa and watching Netflix, we will also feel like that, oh, I wasted this day. Am I wasting this day? But because our society is not allowing to take us rest also, because we are not connecting. Our body is telling us to trust, but we think that this is the way we are just wasting it. That is, we are not trusting our own energy. The first and foremost thing I will taught my younger daughter also that you have to trust your emotions, your energy. If you are feeling good to do that thing, you just go and do it. If you are feeling bad, you just tell me how you are feeling and create that space to process your emotions. That is the major thing that we have to cultivate in our younger generation. They have to know their body, they have to know their energy, they have to know their feelings. This is how we have to educate our younger generation and our females also. Because I am focusing on females because I am a female hormonal coach and I see the people, they change the diet, they change the lifestyle, but they are not getting this. Because the root cause is that their emotions are trapped inside their body and they don't know how to release it. A small trigger is just bursting out their hormones and causing various fluctuations in it. So this is what I will try to teach my younger generation that you trust your own body, your energy, your feeling. That is your guidance. Nothing else matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jeethu. I think you rightly mentioned about the point that maybe the previous generation, what missed out on the previous generation. It's time that we talk to our own children about it, and definitely the aspect of mental well-being. So thank you so much. Next, I would like to ask the same question to Ms. Tripti.
Thank you for that question. Very pertinent question, because one part, what Dr. Jitu said, that, as we have seen our mothers, constantly keep doing, it also creates a kind of a role model and a social learning scenario where, we feel that even the younger girls, younger women need to move at the same pace. But we need to firstly understand that the environmental factors that we're dealing with today are very different than what they were before. The kind of pressures that, people in general, young people have today are very different. We're living in a different society. We're living with different expectations now. And what we need to tell, younger girls is that, when we talk about younger girls, I'm guessing we mean the period of adolescence, which is anyways a time of, deep confusion and, a lot of bodily changes and, hormonal changes and all of that. So when we try and create a sense of acceptance for girls at that time, that you accept your body the way it is, you accept your emotions the way it is, you do what you can do and not feel guilty about it. When we create all of that, that kind of safety and security for our girls, we'll ensure better and well adjusted younger women, and thereby better and well adjusted older women, right? So basically all that training that we need to give for more healthier adjusted individuals, it comes way earlier. It's not like, when you get out into the work world, then you'll adjust, then you'll learn. That's not how it works. Remember, I'm a trauma therapist, so I come from a paradigm of looking at what's going on throughout the childhood to be able to understand what's happening to you today. So if you're facing, like, you're not being able to, let's say, cope at your workplace, or you're not being able to sort of, let's say, do well in your studies or something, I want to go back to what's causing it. I'd want you to understand that what were the thoughts you were brought up with? Where is all of this stemming from? That excessive pressure that everyone wants to take on, where does that come from? So it's important that we, sort of create that safety and security, that space for children to be children, for young girls to be young girls. And when we understand the kind of, scenarios that they are going through at that age, trust me, we'll create much better and well adjusted individuals in the at a later age. Jasmine, you can be
Um,
back.
Yeah.
yeah. So I believe that was like very promptly answered, and being at a place where I'm kind of transitioning from like my school to my college, and I'm going to join work pretty soon. I am at a very crucial phase. So in today's date, if somebody walks up to me and asks me how are you feeling, like right in the morning, I said I'm keeping up. I no longer say I am fine, because if I am fine, I will say I am fine. But if I am keeping up with my day-to-day things, which is not a negative answer, how you take your answer is how you have been feeling. So I have been keeping up with what I am doing. If it has been a fantastic day, I've started with like really good coffee and everything, I'll really, it's a fantastic day today. And even though I'm looking forward to this session, the feelings of an overall how I am feeling is keeping up. So I think, Tripti, you've covered that really well, and I hope that everyone, including at least in my batch, my timeline born people, a year up and a year down, kind of understand the fact that it is okay to talk about your feelings, whether men, whether girls, whether guys, anyone who it is. And you don't really have to talk to your friends. I have heard this, that talking to a stranger is the best advice. Talk to a stranger, you don't have to just go ahead and feel bad about it, because you might never meet them again. So try practicing that. And with that, I would like to shift it to Ishita ma'am, that how do you feel like that transitioning to works with all the kids, and especially female adolescents?
To begin with, I would like to start with what Dr. Jeethu had spoken about. What we see in our families is our mothers trying to. So let's start from the earlier times where women were just working household people, and they constantly were in the main dominant society. They were constantly forced in a direct or indirect way to prove their worth by taking care of the family. Okay, they were always the one who was taking care. They were never taken care of, and nobody till date takes care of this thing that the women in the house are not taken care of. So because of this, they do not feel that they deserve resting, because all the time they cannot fulfill the demands of the family. Okay, it's impossible to keep up with the family demands. Okay, and therefore the family is never satisfied. The woman of the house is never satisfied. They cannot get rested, and the sense of guilt comes in. I, being the daughter of my mother, seeing her do this feeling has crept into me also. Okay, I also want to keep up with others' expectations all the time. And this feeling of keeping up with others and fulfilling their expectations, right now I'm just talking about the household. I've not moved on to the work part. Okay, so this feeling of making keeping people around you very happy, it drains you completely, because the person does not get to be themselves. Okay, I have period cramps. I cannot stay up in the bed till like 9 o'clock in the morning. No, because I don't have that space in my own house, in my own bed. All of this is very taxing eventually. Now, talking about today's time, where women are living in families, catering to their needs, catering to their needs because they want to be independent, they're moving out, working out, and now let's come to the workplace. Again, you are a woman, you again need to prove your worth. That okay, you are capable to work equally as the other men are doing, and therefore you are eligible to draw the same wages as they are drawing. Now again, the whole cycle which was taking place in the household takes place in the workspace also. Now here, since the people are strangers, there is no sympathy or empathy, and the things get harsher. Okay, so every time one such situation or the other keeps arising, the women out there in the workplace, they try their level best to prove themselves how well they are able to perform. Unlike men who are there because they think they deserve, and we they think that we are being placed at that position because we are women. This is a kind of sense which exists in some kind of workplaces which are toxic, that I'm talking about exactly. So this again costs a lot of mental toll and trauma on the women. Then again, while traveling in public transport, there's a lot of safety issues. I'm just pointing on those small things which I have felt personally, and all these things they cause a lot of anxiety. And when we try to relax ourselves watching Netflix, it becomes again. Oh my God! I should instead be going and cleaning that part of the house, or I should rather go and respond to my client's mail. This would provide me credit worthiness. Okay, I would come out to be more worthy to people. What am I doing wasting time? This eventually causes a burnout. Today's problem with the adult females working out in the society is the problem of burnout, and there we need to have a whole system talking about this. Governments highlighting this whole scenario, and we need to have an organized therapy sessions in workplaces where people, not only females, even men, who when feel worked out or exhausted, they should have a safe place to be heard. Okay, because people are not able to be themselves either in the house or amongst friends or between their peers, because there's always some or the other sort of pressure. So a safe space is very, very important where a person can be just the way they are, and which I think is lacking. Please think of yourselves, everybody who has joined the panel. Where was the last time when you were just the way you are, irrespective of whatever you wore or whatever you spoke or how you spoke things? So that good space is very much missing. And the more we talk about it, the more we create awareness about it, the more we cultivate such a sensitivity in the workplaces and household, things would get naturalized and it would become easy. So yes, that's how we should be taking small baby steps to nurture the feeling of mental well-being among women.
Thank you so much, Ishita ma'am. And the one thing I derive from this is Sundays are not Sundays for us. Sundays are Sundays are the day we are coping up with the workload of the entire week that we have missed out. So it's like an additional for us. It's an additional 24 hours of workload instead of
Whatever you
where
said.
I ask my friends. My concern is I need to do my laundry, I need to finish my work, I need to respond to finish my college, I need to do some extracurricular if I am free. But if I ask my friends, they'll be like, I'm planning to pass out, I can't do that.
Yeah,
So
we always want to be productive. Why not
productive.
be productive? Why not do something which would add on to us? Because we always want to prove our worth. That's the kind
Yes.
of environment that we're living in.
Yes, and with that, I come to a very particular question that I would like to direct to Ms. Tripti. That according, I have read your bio. According to that, I have observed that you work with young adults and adolescents. So, in today's date, what are the some challenges that you face, particularly in respect to mental well-being in terms of peer pressure, social outlook and behavior? Like Ishita ma'am said that there's a particular behavior expected out of us, how we sit, how we, our postures. You can't sit with open legs, you can't speak in a certain manner. And if you are in the society, so we say no, women are out in society. So how you need to behave like a woman or a female out in society. So what are your outlook on such things?
Well, when we talk about mental health of younger people, and I can share that from, like what I experienced with so many of my clients, is that yes, it is a pressured world, and I don't think that it's less pressured for boys as it is for girls, because it's an equally pressurizing world. I work with both, right? But because we are focusing on mental health of girls, why that tips over is because yes, societal expectations become a lot more, I think, with a girl, right? But I won't want to correct everybody here, is that it's not like the and the boys don't go through difficult times. Please don't think that, boys have it easy. Boys also have it difficult. But when we talk about girls, yes, the hormone toll on their body in adolescence is way greater. To be getting a period is a big deal. It's not like the men are having or the boys are having a period. They're going through developments with their sexual organs as well, but it's not like the women. So their life completely changes. They got to deal with something coming up every month, and that's a difficulty for most people. Secondly, the expect when I talk about expectations, um the way a girl needs to look becomes very paradigm when we're talking about paramount, sorry, when we're talking about adolescence, is because how I look becomes a lot of focus. Why that becomes focus is because look at the kind of environmental stimuli that they are getting. Everyone is thin, everyone has a perfect kind of a body, this kind of a hair, and that sort of leads to a lot of body image issues in the adolescence. It leads to a lot of peer pressure for girls to look a certain way, to be a certain way, because their friends are being a certain size in their clothes and wearing the kind of crop tops that they want. It's okay to wear all of that. It's okay to explore. It's okay to do all of that. However, there is why they would do it sometimes is because of an inadvertent pressure on them. And that's the problem. You don't do it out of your choice. You sometimes do it because the other person is doing it. And that's where the problem really starts. When we look at the kind of mental health issues that might be coming up when we're talking about adolescence, there's a lot of depression. There's a lot of, increasingly, I have noticed over the last few years that there's a lot of self-harm amongst, young girls and boys, but we'll focus on girls here. A lot of self-harm, which means that they're not being able to cope in the world that we as adults are giving to them, which is sad because they need to resort to really difficult ways of and dysfunctional ways of coping. There's so much anxiety in adolescent girls about a lot of things: academic pressure, social pressure, the way I look. All of that creates a lot of pressure, anxiety, leads to depressive symptoms in adolescents. And this percolates because no one deals with it, no one talks about it. It percolates in a lot of ways into the later later adolescence. It even percolates so much so into the young adulthood phase, where career decisions become very important, that you should get it right in the first go. But we all know that everyone explores sometimes and reaches the career at a later space. It moves to relationships, the kind of relationships you may have, the reasons why you may get into a relationship. So from a from from a societal perspective, it starts moving inwardly, and then it goes back into the whole extended societal nature. So mental health, when we look at what concerns the mental health poses at that age, is a lot, and we need to kind of make sure that girls are made to feel okay with their thoughts. They're okay to explore different things. They're okay to understand what hormones are doing to their bodies, and they're allowed to take a rest, they're allowed to take a break, they're allowed to do veg out and do Netflix for a day. It's okay. But it also comes as a matter of hame bhi to aisa hua tha, or we also went through this, but the pressures are different. Try being an adolescent in today's day and age. It's very hard. I don't think I could have done it. It's so hard, with everyone expecting a certain kind of academic performance, with expecting how you look, how you behave, how you do all of that. There's just a lot of pressure. So I think we really do need to work on strengthening and giving young people better ways of coping with the challenges. We can't change the challenges. This is the world we live in. If you went out and said, "Oh, this is wrong in the world, this is wrong in the world," then I don't know how we'll develop, better justice children and adolescents and young adults. What we do need to teach them is how to cope with the world. And if you're unable to do that, then please reach out to someone who can help you do that in the best possible way. That's the way the world will move forward. That's the way we'll ensure better mental health for all of us. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Skan?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And the floor is open for both the panelists to add on, but I would like to say one thing is that everyone has to understand that it's a safe space, and reaching out to someone for help is not wrong. The very first point where we falter or where we feel is that when I started seeing a therapist, I had to tell my dad, and he took it very openly. And he was happy that I had someone to talk to. But not every parents will take that very openly. The society will be like, "You're going to a shrink. Why would you term it like that? Why would you term it like that for any reason?" So everyone has to understand that it's a safe space. It's all right to take help from anyone who's willing to help you in the best possible way, like Miss Tripti put. And with that, I come to a very crucial question that I would like to pose to Miss Jeetu. And also, I have put the chat is open for questions for panelists to all the attendees, so you can put in questions. uh, the question is, physiology and psychology are interrelated, like Miss Tripti put this. So from there, I'm bringing out a question that what is the adverse effect from one on the other, and what has been your experience in that regard? The understanding, like a disbalance between physiological change and psychological change, and how do you think that students or adolescents or females, especially ones who are working, can kind of find balance between the two?
Yeah, that's a nice question. Because from my clinical experience, okay, as a hormonal coach and an Ayurvedic practitioner itself, I felt that, okay, the Ayurvedic point of view is always understanding the body. And we treat every person as unique. We don't give the medicines common to everyone, because your body, your emotions, how your body working, mechanisms are same, but how your body is working, your body is responding, it is different. So according to that, if a person with hypothyroidism, they all the patients of hypothyroidism are not experiencing the same symptoms. Some have different, some have different. So treating the person as unique is very important. And if you sometimes some person, their clients come to me, and they say that their lab values are completely fine, but they are not feeling energetic at all. They are feeling lethargic because they, when the lab values are fine, when they go to a normal doctor and they say that it's absolutely fine, you just work on, okay, work out, you do workout and you feel energetic, they will tell like that. They will not get into the root cause of the disease. From my experience, I find out that your, the chronic illnesses, any hormonal imbalances, it comes from a chronic stress in your body. You're trapped emotions in your body. You are not just a physical being, you are an energetic being. That is the one thing that we are forgetting. Your energy, emotions are the energy in motion. That emotions need to be valued, need to be addressed, need to be regulated, need to be processed. That is the one thing we are forgetting in our, when we go to a doctor, when they are giving advices, because they are fixing their diet. They ask them to do, okay, you just follow this diet, your hormones will come to balance. You follow this, workout, your hormones will come to balance. Of course, you will feel a change in your physical symptoms, but your angry, your aggressiveness, your outburst, your depression, your brain fog, that will not come to balance when we completely focus on diet. Of course, diet have an impact on your emotions, your aggressiveness. Of course, that is a small part, but a bigger part is that processing your emotions. So, The thing I will suggest them to do is that taking some time out every day, that is creating a small routine for them. That is morning when you wake up, you just do some, uh, and I will not suggest them to do a 30 minutes of going out for a complete workout and stressing your body. I will say just walk around at least 15 minutes. That is gradual changes, small changes every day, and you can make it as a routine. Then you can introduce slowly the next one, like sitting yourself and do some meditation, or just close your eyes and you just connect with your body. Just think about, drop to your intuition. You have an intuition. Every person have an intuition and a guidance within yourself. You just ask yourself, just take some deep breaths and you just ask yourself, is this right for me? Is this how I am feeling about this? When a when any type of issues arises, you can sit down and you can ask yourself, is this right for me? Is this the right thing I have to do? When you are gradually sitting down yourself, and when it becomes a routine, you will slowly feel that. You will get that feeling. Yeah, it's right. Your body will tell it's right, you're wrong. That is your energy. That is your feeling. That feelings you have to connect with yourself. And every morning you just write down what you really need. That is not what the society tells. What the society is telling, that you have to achieve this goal by this year. Maybe that is not the exact one you need. You need another. Your happiness maybe not another thing, or another activity. But when everyone is following that thing, you gradually follow the crowd and you started doing that. Maybe that is not exactly what your body needs, what your mind needs. You have to connect with yourself and you have to find out what exactly making you happy. That is the way, that is a small steps you can include in your daily routine. That is connecting with you, sitting down yourself and writing down what are the thoughts that is bothering you, taking some deep breaths morning. It will take only 5 to 10 minutes. The anxiety, the anxious part, it will get reduced gradually. You will feel that when you are just depositing that 5 minutes in your day. So this is how. And also for females, what happens is that each phase, knowing their body and giving the proper guidance about their menstrual cycle. This is how your body works. In this first, the first phase of your follicular phase, your estrogen and progesterone are rising up. That means you have a little energy that on that phase. So that doesn't mean you have to go for big workouts on that days. You have to do some walking, running, like that, small workouts. And when it comes to ovulatory phase, means, at that time, our energy is in very peak mode. That is, we are so energetic at that time, that ovulatory phase. We have to educate them that is the period your energy is too much high, and you can do heavy workouts and all those things in that particular phase. And when it comes to luteal phase, means your energy starts dropping, and at that time you can just slow down your workout. And just when it comes to the bleeding phase, that means your body is naturally undergoing a detoxification, and your body is already draining that energy. So at that time, when you work out very hardly, when you go for very good runs and heat workouts, that is again stressing your body. Your body doesn't need to be stressed like that. You are adding too much stress into the body. So understanding the menstrual phases itself brings a great change in your, the hormonal imbalance condition. In the previous time, okay, if you look at the older generation, we know that there will not be any too much PCOS conditions, infertility issues, nothing. Okay, maybe some rare cases are there, but here I know that as a hormonal coach, there is a majority of the female patients, female, they are suffering from PCOS, hormonal imbalances, thyroid issues. It's become common. It's because we are not knowing our body, we are not connecting with ourselves, we are not processing our emotions. We just go on with what the external world is telling, and we are just competing with them. We are just, try to achieve that what others are achieving. This is not the right way to treat our body. Females, they are different. Our body is different. But when we connect with ourselves, everything will unfold at that moment. You can magnetize everything. when you rightly work, when you rightly work means when you know when to work, not every day, when to work. And that energy is amazing because I am not only Ayurvedic practitioner, I believe in a feminine energy, connecting with your womb center through meditation. I believe in that because energy centers are, I don't know how many of you believe in these energy centers. Energy centers are there because in modern also, if you look into that, in each, chakra places, there is a group of nervous plexus. That nervous plexus is just stimulating the organs around that region and so just making perform better. So these energy meditations are very, very important and very, very helpful in dealing with these unresolved emotions and working with mind exercises. This is how I am directing them to make a better life. When we start a great holistic routine like giving yourself time for some meditation, some yoga, some small exercises, small mind exercises. You can, gradually whatever the hormonal imbalances, along with a small change in your diet and lifestyle, you can easily tackle it. That is my holistic way of approaching. That is giving them more time, giving them the time to process their emotions. Yeah, maybe I think I answered the question.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jeethu. I mean, when I was hearing you, I remembered a news I read recently. Spain has actually adopted to give menstrual leave nationally to
Yes.
all working females in government jobs. And I mean, it would have been such a nice scene to see the government sit down with doctors and understand the entire approach, the bill being passed. And yeah, I hope that one day in all the countries, I will not just speak for India, I would say that all countries, whether small, big, Cayman Islands, anything, they try to adopt a certain education system.
Hmm.
And with that, I have one last question to direct to Miss Ishita, because I talked about jobs and government. Is that with your, as we understand, you are an advocate and there's a lot of stress from both ends, where we see Miss Jeetu and Miss Tripti cutting down on stress of people. We see you take stress people have to give you, and you take on the burden of people, their problems, and their all kinds of mishaps they have created. And so how easy and difficult is it to manage your stress, especially managing things on both on a personal front on days when you don't feel like getting out, and then meeting official ends as well?
I am still learning. I am still learning. It is not easy. Okay. So, yes, I am pretty young and I deal with situations of people who are more than twice my age and have created a mess for themselves. Okay. And I am sitting at this end trying to solve these problems. Now, sometimes these problems are just corporate transactions with which it is easy to disassociate yourself. But when it comes to emotional side of situations, be it family disputes, be it matrimonial disputes, and be it some physical violence, it does create a toll because people they come out with such an emotion and vigor while telling their stories, they end up transmitting their energies into us, which is not a lot of positive energy. It is a bunch and load of negativity which they leave with us and they move ahead while trying to feel relaxed. Now with this load of energy we sit with our heads down thinking how to go around this, and eventually while reading and speculating and unweaving the whole knot that they have created, we come up with some legal solutions. But these situations do cause us mental impact. We are impacted mentally, and these experiences sometimes we end up defining our way of life through these experiences. Okay. So, what Dr. Jeetu has suggested, and because of such experiences, you will see that most lawyers they go on really long vacations. Lawyers will have lavish vacations and long vacations because they need it. It's important. I mean, today, right now, I'm sitting at my home because I was exhausted and burned out, and I needed a break. So I left my workplace and I'm sitting here for past 15 days doing nothing, trying to do nothing. trying to do nothing. Okay. So this is really important. This break cycle is really important. So yes, what Dr. Jeetu suggested was taking small baby steps is what I also try to follow. I'm not saying I do it regularly, but yes, I try to follow and I've seen the differences. It's very important to, get up in the morning, take the early morning breeze in, feel the freshness around you, just connect with yourself. And I, on the personal front, has tried to get spiritually inclined and connect with the spirituality. And it does give me some hope and sense of belongingness and a path of strength that yes, it's okay, we can pull it off, and it's easy. It's not that difficult the way we thought. So yeah, these baby steps are important, and till the time we don't realize that these are needed to keep our mental health and physical health in center and the right place, we will not be able to succeed professionally as well. Okay, so being detoxing ourselves, uh, not physically but mentally also, is extremely relevant, and the importance of breaks and patience and yoga, exercise, meditation is is what that is makes us a happy, healthy human being. So we have to consider these factors because being a lawyer is not easy. There is a lot of stress, and you see most of the women, they do try litigation at early age, but they end up quitting because it's not just mental stress; it's physical stress also. We have to move from one court to other, and when you are a young practitioner, you don't have a clerk to handle your files, so you have to move around with a load of files on your back. It is not easy. And while you're on your periods and you have to move around physically with a load of file on your back, it is definitely not easy in the heat. Okay. So yeah, it does cost a lot of people end up giving up. People do not realize what they can fetch in future from this whole exercise. So this profession is demanding. It drains you out completely. But those who are able to battle these situations are only able to succeed and get the fruit out of it. So, and to battle the situation, one needs to take care of their mental health through these small tips that Dr. Jeetu has suggested. And I have practiced them, and I believe, and I reaffirm it, and I suggest to people that please incorporate these small habits in your life and feel the difference.
Thank you so much. And I am taking inspiration from this entire panel, law and doctorate. And I hope that if tomorrow I am a good lawyer, I hope to be a healthy lawyer also. So I will not just say that I am a good lawyer or I'm aspiring to be a good lawyer. I'll say I am hoping to be a healthy and good lawyer. So with that, we'll be moving into the audience Q&A round, and I already see two questions with me on the chat, and Manvi has raised her hand. So we'll go with Manvi first. Yeah, Manvi.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Manvi. I was actually a bit lazy to join this panel, but after listening you all, Dr. Jeetu, Tripti ma'am, and then Ishita, you two, I kind of got inspirational from you guys. I just had one question from the keyword that most of you had covered about taking breaks for women, especially. Uh, I'll start with my personal experience, like from my mom. So today is Sunday, and I was saying to my mom that, Mom, you should take some break and like don't go with your all household activities again. And we can ask dad to like order something from outside. But it was not my dad having a question or like uh, how to say, not accepting this thing, but my mom herself, that no, what's the need, I can make like. So this not taking a break is also kind of taken as something positive, and something like, oh, I can't take break, this is something like this is I like I'm giving up on something, as what like we women think, right? So, and it's not just because it's now like presently happening, but it has been happening from like past, and now it has been normalized. So how do you think, like, not just through some awareness programs or like education, like external sources, but how within a family, as in people like us, like kids who are aware of these things, like, no, it's not, it's wrong to take, not to take a break, how we can like educate our like I won't say educate, because who are we to educate, but like how we can help our mom or like my sister to like get to not think like that, to like deconstruct this thought. So that's my question.
May I answer that? Oh, sorry, Ishita, you want to answer? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I have just one small input here. What I had actually pointed out this thing in my first question. Uh, you know what? These people whom you're talking about are sisters and mothers. They have become a very strong personality now. So it's very difficult to make them understand something and then expect them to adopt the change. But what you can do is make sure you don't do this to yourself. Okay? You practice taking breaks, and you make sure that while you are taking breaks, people around you are seeing you and they are being able to understand that how relaxed their life is as compared to how relaxed your life is as compared to their life. And you make sure that because of you it doesn't get passed on to your next generations. That is one small thing that you can do, and that's how we make sure that it gets trickled down. And it's only by seeing and observing that people around us will understand the importance. And yes, you should, of course, try and talk it out with your friends and family. But make making sure that it happens, I think it is difficult. Dr. Tripti may take it ahead from here.
Manvi, may I ask you something? Did you and your father eventually order food, or you didn't?
No, we didn't, because my father wasn't feeling good, like health wise. So my mom ended up
Now, see, that's where we need to make the change. Okay, I
exactly.
understand today was a free case because your father was not feeling well. But if you volunteered in that moment to ensure that break for your mom, then ही आप rest करो मैं बना देती हूँ. It's just shifting that one, a change requires that one shift of perspective, right? And if you shifted that perspective for your mom today or whenever next the situation happens, she'll probably understand why it is important, how she felt after taking that break. Today, obviously, your father wasn't well, so you couldn't order. But the next time such a situation happens, do order the food and say, Ma, come, let's sit and watch this TV show. Na? Aapko to din se man tha, you wanted to sit, come, let's sit. Or let's just do nothing. Soak a tub of, fill a tub of warm water and tell her, put your feet in it. You can't move around then. And then she'll understand in that moment how much you want her to take that break. And maybe slowly and steadily, you'll be able to, make her understand why taking a break, even for those few seconds, is important and how it can help her. Right. So, probably that's something you can try the next time around, and it'll probably help her and you and all of you as a family.
Definitely, Tripti. Like what you said is like creating that environment itself uh would help my mom or someone else's sister to like, yes, like it's okay to take a break. But
Absolutely.
sometimes it becomes difficult when you are in a family where majority believes in not taking a break for a woman, but you yourself are standing out to that. But yeah, true, creating that thing around the family that no, it's not okay. And then what you said, like helping my mom, giving a hand to her, would like I do that most of the time, but I myself sometimes gets irritated, like why can't this family understand these simple things? But like then also comes a thought that these things have been going on for like thousands of years, and that's
Yes.
how like they have been normalized to an extent. So one question was that. Second question was, sorry if I'm taking too much of time. Second question was like, so I work as an intern at this company, and my RM is a woman, and she can't like for the first time when I met her in person. She was kind of giving me few lessons like how to deal with this corporate life and what on. And then she said that being a girl kind of gives you a kind of have like gives you a responsibility to outperform. Like you can't just do what men are doing, but you have to also show something extra. That kind of like hit at me, like why do I have, like it's normal, just like my like another intern who is a boy and I'm a girl, if we both of us are doing to our best, but why do I have to outperform? That sometimes like it kind of created like like I was a bit moved hearing such a thing from a girl itself. But I just wanted to know, like, is that okay to outperform, or do we have to change that belief as well? Yes. I hope you understood my question.
Yeah, Manvi, we got your question. Ishita ma'am?
If Manvi would have joined my session earlier, I had spoken about it. Manvi, you're working in a kind of toxic workspace wherein women, they do not understand, and it's a demanding workspace. It's not a free space where it allows your mind and body to flow freely in the workspace, and so that you can deliver out your best. This whole expectation of doing more than what is required, also doing a little extra of what is actually needed, ends up creating a negative impact on the employee, which discourages their attendance and appearances in the workspaces at time. Like right now, this lady thinks that why do I need to put in more effort where the other intern does not? Okay, so this will definitely create a cascading impact, and in future, the female employees of that organization will understand it and might withdraw from such a space. So what you need to do is you need to make it a point, or you should have raised your voice then, asking her a question, that why. Okay, one small gesture of asking why, or maybe asking her to substantiate why this kind of behavior is expected from us, or maybe you should have asked another follow-up question asking, will I get paid extra for that extra effort? This could have given her a setback, asking her, maybe leading herself to think within, that whatever I am propagating, is it right or wrong? So somebody has to speak up. If we don't speak, the cycle continues. Right now, you are being intoxicated with this venom. It will be filled in you. When you reach at higher positions and designations, you will end up doing it the same to your juniors. And this vicious circle will never end. So somebody has to take a step up, even in your household, for your mother, order food, even at your workspace, when somebody is talking something which you do not understand or appreciate, and which you think should stop or is against the norm, try to speak up. Speak up politely, but you make sure you raise your voice. If you cannot raise your voice to your superiors, at least discuss it within your colleagues.
Thank you so much, Tamam. We'll take one last question. First of all, it's already 1 o'clock, and Tripti ma'am had to leave due to her engagements. I am so happy and thrilled to have the other panelists still on board with us and contributing to this. We'll take one last question that was posted by Sakshi, and we'll move to final remarks and word of thanks. So I'll just quickly shorten down Sakshi's question. Is that the news and politics
Muskan, you have been muted if you were speaking.
Am I audible right now?
Yes,
Yeah.
Muskan, you're
So
back.
basically, on a day-to-day basis, whatever news and other politics that we listen around us, like during COVID, the number of cases keep on repeating, and we kept on listening about it as an example. We feel very overwhelmed, and in short, we become lethargic to it. So, how to cope with that? How to not less let the environment influence us?
Um,
Yeah, it's open to the floor.
yeah, uh, yeah. That is the thing I am telling. When we talk about well-being, also I told that the external, okay, you have to find your happiness from inside. The answer for everything is inside. Even when the Manvi mentioned about the toxic environment, then you have to ask yourself, are you ready to work, do that work? Do you feel happiness when you do that work? You know, everything is inside us, not the external thing. So when the things, the COVID cases are increasing. At that time, okay, every day we are just connected outside and we are looking here this much cases. This okay. If you see the COVID case, how is it reporting in Kerala? They will go to a particular person and their route map, and they are increasing. If you see a news channel that you think that you already affected and you are going to die. That is the situation we already faced during the COVID situation. So the thing is that in Ayurveda it is already mentioned that prasanna atma indriya manaha. That is your sense organs. You have to know when to shut up your sense organs, when to open your sense organs. When you are thinking that this is not making me happy, this is making me anxious, you have to shut down that news channel at that time itself. Whatever you want to know, you will get as a news or in a headline, where in the social media, in FB or anywhere, from anywhere. So you don't need to hear it for continuously for 1 hour, 2 hours of debates and all those things. That is toxic. That is extremely toxic. That is again building up the pressure. Your body is always going to your sensor, the nervous system is not going to shut down. It is always in stress and strain mode, and it is always producing that adrenaline all over your body. It is a simple small step. Whatever makes you feel happy, you have to concentrate on that thing. That is any music classes, or listening to music, or painting, or these are the small steps you can make. You can't change the entire world to make us happy. We can't expect others to make us happy. We can only completely depend on me only, not only my husband, my children, nothing. Me only. I have to find my own happiness. So these small steps, like the meditation or some breathing exercises, or shut down the things that makes you anxious. You know that how your body feels when you listen to it. You know that you don't need another one to inform that it is the one that is making you anxious, because you know the feeling of your body. Yeah. So like that, small steps you can make, and of course you will know that where to find your happiness, where to find your own pace, how to if you need any guidance also, the course therapists are there. You can go to them, and they will give you some techniques to how to cope up with the stress and all those things. By yourself also, you can find these small steps, like use your senses wisely. Then of course you will find a happiness.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jeethu. I think, Ishita, do you want to add any point to it, or? Okay. So I think,
Dr. Jeethu
yes.
covered most of it right now and earlier also. Well, when a question for mental well-being was posed, and I would just like to reiterate that please practice it. It is not something new that she's telling. Our parents tell us to do it every day. Our grandparents have been doing it for some time now, though they started doing it in their old age, or maybe some of them are health conscious and they've been practicing it. And you see how long they live. Okay, it's today because we are sitting here as panelists and we are saying things. Maybe people might listen, but please listen to your elders when they talk about mental and physical well-being. They know it. Okay, and they have gone through already what we are going through now. So yes, if we practice what is being preached, we will definitely feel the difference.
Thank you so much. I think that's very beautifully put. And to add to what Dr. Jeethu said, I remember my grandmom telling that God gave, when we were born with natural filters. Now, my grandmother was a rebel herself. I'm talking about, she passed away at the age of 80, 81, 3 years back. But till that age, so imagine, she married off very early as per the traditions earlier. But she's always been a rebel, and she told me once that as human beings we are born with natural filters in the sense, both the ears have openings, so you listen, ek kaan se suno, dusre kaan se nikal do, is not just a saying on paper, but something you need to follow on a daily basis to filter out what makes you happy and what gives you stress. So if something is there which is making you anxious and you feel is harming you, in the sense harming your mental aspects, I think that is something something we really need to put filters on. There's a lot happening. I mean, if we compare today's time vis-a-vis before, I think with the growth of internet, it was bought for a reason that it would help. But with the internet came also the onset of, let's say, the virtual world, which all of us are trying to feed on more than what is actually happening around us. And in the long run, we are also breaking the barrier between the real world and the virtual world, which is quite dangerous. And we need to know where to step our boundaries and where to create it. Otherwise, it's going to lead further. I mean, it's going to create problems for us. So I think it's wonderful listening to Ms. Ishita, Dr. Jeethu, Ms. Tripti, who were here talking about one aspect which retaliates and goes for all of us. We need to learn about our happiness. We need to see how happy we are, and that is how we'll be able to create happiness around us also. If we are not happy, definitely that happiness around us is not going to stick very long. So thank you once again to all the panelists for being here, especially on a Sunday, dedicating their time to such a wonderful topic and enlightening us with your experience and with your knowledge. I'm sure the participants here were able to take away good learnings like we had, our team members had. Thanks to all my team members who helped to put together this session today, and everyone who's contributed in one way or the other for the success of this program. Next, we have another session in the Inspiring Women series, which is on 29th May, which talks about women who have broken barriers in terms of taking up occupations or taking up roads that have been less traveled and are traditionally considered stereotyped for one gender or the other. So I look forward to your presence. It's on 29th May and exactly the same time, 12 noon to 1 p.m. So you are all invited to join us for this session. So thank you once again and looking forward to seeing you all again.
Thank you, Jasmine, Ms. Khan, and Dais to invite. Thank you for the session. It's a pleasure meeting Dr. Jeethu and Tripti another.
Thank you so much, Muskan, Jasmine, and Ishita. It was really enlightening. Thank
Like
you. And also, Tripti. Great, great.
Thank you.